Hiya Dave, great session this morning, lovely to see you out on the course again. Just a quick recap on the key points that we covered relating to your putting. First thing we discussed was this pre-shot routine, and one of the things that I don't really like is the amount of fidgeting that we do, particularly with the right hand. The right hand's never in the same place on any two puts. You're establishing your posture and therefore the circumference of your stroke, or the arc of the stroke if you will, when you put your right hand on the club. So you're a guy who sets up usually with his right hand first, and if we're going to get some sort of systematic approach to this, we want to make sure that everything's the same every time we put. So the thing we've suggested is put a little mark on the putter where your right thumb's going to go, and the first thing you do is put your thumb on there the minute you get your putter in your hand and go from there. So you're building your stance, you're positioning the ball, you're establishing your posture from the same place every time, and it's just that familiarity, and from that familiarity you can also gain some comfort when you're out on the golf course under pressure. If we look at the stroke itself, particularly with the setup, first thing we're going to look at here is the angle at which the shaft sits. I'm just going to describe that as handle back, and whenever the handle's back, what we're going to tend to get is a swing or an arc to the stroke that's a little bit too much out to in, as can be seen here in the centre top footage. So handle back, from the club traces a slight outside path, nothing severe, but then on the way through there's quite a lot of rotation through the ball with your upper body, and the blade of the putter works left through impact. So path and blade to the left, and we're hitting a lot of shots that are pulled. There's also a tendency, if the blade moves out too much, that we get a heel strike, and that's something else that was very prevalent this morning, particularly on the big uphill putts. There wasn't enough centred contact. So it doesn't happen every time, but certainly on occasion we can get a little heel strike with a club face and path that are matched up too far to the left. And I know it's quite dull there, but you get the impression that the shoulders have opened up quite substantially through impact. So subtle changes: move the handle forward, feel that there's going to be a touch more pressure under the right forearm or right bicep against the chest, so a little bit more pressure on pressure point 5, and then the feeling then was to just make some solid puts. Powering the stroke, you can't quite see it there, it's a little bit too bright with the camera. Trying to feel that you're going to power the stroke with this unit created by the forearms. We discussed why. I for one think this use of excessive use of the shoulders is a little bit OTT in some parts. There's no feel in the shoulders. Yes, it'll eliminate a lot of wrist movement, but really the shoulders, as we discussed when you watch the good putters, are really responding to what the arms are doing. Power the stroke with the forearms. I don't personally think we put on greens fast enough, often enough, to use the shoulders only to power the stroke. So key thoughts: first of all, establish a more consistent swing radius or arc at setup. Get that right thumb in position in the same place every time. Handle forward, a little bit more pressure under pressure point 5, and then try and make some nice centered contacts, powering the stroke with a triangle created between your forearms and elbows. Good luck with it, and look forward to working further with you during the winter months. Well done.